Hello, am I audible, students? Hello, am I audible, student?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good evening, everyone. How are you all?
Fine, ma'am.
Okay, so what were we doing in the previous class?
Ma'am, I was absent in last class.
Okay, who was present? Tell me. Tejas? Astitwa, you tell me.
Good evening, ma'am.
What were we doing in the previous class?
Ma'am, we completed second chapter.
Completed the second chapter. All right, everyone, switch on your videos. All right, so in the previous class, we had completed the chapter tissues, right? So our fundamental unit of life chapter and the tissues chapter is completely over. So
Yes,
now
ma'am.
we start doing the revision. Okay, we'll start the proper revision of the chapter so that all of your doubts and anything, if you might have missed anything, so that will be clear. Now tell me, students, do you want the revision of tissues or fundamental unit of life first?
Fundamental unit of life.
Ma'am,
Fundamental
fundamental unit. Ma'am, you told that you will start new chapter.
new chapter we're going to start.
Yes, ma'am, you told that.
Okay, we'll do one thing. First, we'll revise half of the chapter and then we'll start the new chapter. Okay,
Okay.
and everyone switch on your videos. Why only 2 students have switched on their videos? Quickly. Yes, Safia and Farhan, you also switch on your videos. And no one will switch it off until I ask you to do so.
Okay, ma'am.
Also, students, tell me one thing. Are you people facing any difficulties, any doubts anywhere
Ma'am,
in biology?
from
No, ma'am.
Okay. This is to everyone. Those students that are not very vocal in the class, you people can also share your doubts and your misunderstandings or anything of that sort with me, okay? Because you can't keep a doubt and have good marks. For like in order to get full marks, you have to clear your doubts with the teacher. Anything that comes to your mind, ask, okay? Anything related to the chapter, not just anything related to the chapter. Okay, so all right. So we are going to start the revision of the chapter that is fundamental unit of life, and we know that the fundamental unit of life is the cell. Now, again, talking about why is it called as the fundamental? Because students, tell me one thing: is it possible for any organism to survive without a cell?
no, ma'am.
No,
No,
ma'am.
it
No.
isn't. Okay, tell me one thing: what are all of the things that a cell can do? What are the processes that the cell can perform?
Ma'am, it can divide.
It can divide, and
Yes,
what else apart from
it
division?
can function the body properly.
It can function.
Ma'am,
The
it gives
body
structure.
properly.
It gives structure. Just
It has a proper structure. It can perform metabolism. Then, can one cell live independently?
No,
no, ma'am.
Yes.
no,
Yes, it can. Why it can't? Like, you people know about unicellular organisms?
yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Everyone
ma'am.
knows?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
So when I say unicellular, what do I mean? They just have one
With
cell,
one cell, yes.
right? So aren't they alive? Aren't they
They
capable
are,
of existing alone? They are
yeah,
definitely. Hmm. So this is the reason why, because if we have one cell, that one cell can do metabolism, that one cell can divide and do reproduction, that one cell can do diffusion, osmosis, all of these properties are present in that one cell. So that is the reason why we say that structural, like the structural and functional unit of life is the cell, because one cell is capable of every single thing, right? Starting from independent existence up until the division part. So that is
yes,
why one cell is sufficing all of it. Now we know that Robert Hooke discovered the first cell, and that cell was
yes,
a dead cell, isn't it?
yes.
So Robert Hooke discovered the cell, and from where did he get the cell?
Ma'am, cork cell.
Cork. What are the cork cells?
Ma'am, they are dead cell.
That's true. Where do we get cork cells?
That bark from bark of the tree.
Bark of the tree.
Very good. Yes, bark of the tree, right? The tree
Yes,
trunk. You people know, like the rest of the students, you people know what the bark of a tree is, right? Everyone has seen
Yes,
bark of a
ma'am.
tree.
yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anyone who has it?
Ma'am, I have seen.
Okay, Sarah, are you there in the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Why is your video blank?
I don't know, ma'am.
Try to switch it off and switch it back on. All right, so yeah, so Robert Hooke took the cell from the took the cork cells from the bark of the tree, and he studied it. And while he was studying, he saw that that particular cork cell had a honeycomb-like structure. Okay, so that is why he called them, he called those individual units of that honeycomb structure as the cell. Now, after that came Anton von Leeuwenhoek, and him discovered the first living cell, right?
Yes,
Okay, who can tell me what is the difference between a dead cell and a living cell? How, like for
ma'am.
example, I'll give you two cells, okay? And I'll ask you differentiate which one is a dead cell and which one is a living cell. What would you tell
Ma'am,
me?
um, ma'am, if it's dividing.
No, without division also. Like you don't have to see it perform anything, but by just looking at it, or maybe because of the presence or absence of something, I ask you all to tell me how
Ma'am,
would you
prominent nucleus.
hmm?
Prominent nucleus.
Prominent nucleus. But if we talk about prokaryotes, they don't have a nucleus.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me, think people, all of you think. How does a cell become a dead cell?
Ma'am,
Try
when
to
it's
connect it with tissue chapter.
okay. Ma'am, when it's lose the ability to divide.
I said no division. Don't
Okay,
you
okay.
are right. All of those criteria, whatever you are saying is correct. But I'm not talking in terms of division. I'm just saying, looking at the cell, how would you tell that one is dead, one is not dead? Because the cell won't talk to you, isn't it?
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
like, hey, I'm dead. So, Ishad, tell me. Safia, tell me. Tell me what you people think. It's okay. It doesn't have to be right. I'm not taking your test. Just, I want to see your imagination. Like they just told me in terms of cell division. And he is right. You people also tell me any kind of thing that maybe comes to your mind when you think about a dead cell. Nothing comes to your mind? Don't you people remember? I told you one thing, that any cell, when it becomes dead, it loses its protoplasm. So if you see a cell under a microscope and one cell that does not have a protoplasm, then that means that cell is dead.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the other name for protoplasm?
Ma'am, cytoplasm.
Cytoplasm, isn't it? And
Yes.
why is cytoplasm so important, students?
Ma'am, it protects the cell.
No. For protection, cell membrane and
Yeah,
cell
yes,
wall,
yes.
they are there. Cytoplasm does. Yes, Ishad?
Nothing.
Can't hear you. Speak clearly.
Nothing.
Nothing. Tell me, what about the other Sarah? You tell me.
Ma'am, a jelly-like substance inside the cell is cytoplasm, right?
Hmm.
Mm.
Sarah, tell me. What is the main thing about cytoplasm? Tell me something about it.
It's inside the cell,
Hmm.
the water, liquid-like substance inside a cell.
Hmm. I'm talking the function.
Ma'am, many metabolic processes take place there.
Metabolic processes.
Yes.
Okay. What else?
It keeps the cell organelles in place.
Hmm. Correct. It holds the cell organelles, meaning all the cell organelles are present in the cytoplasm,
Yes.
isn't it? Do you people remember that line that I told you, that it is the arena of all the cellular activity?
Yes, ma'am, we told
That
that.
Yes, ma'am.
every single activity of the cell takes place in the cytoplasm, because all of the organelles and all of the things are present inside the cell itself. Isn't it, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it clear to
Yes.
everyone what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Sophia, is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You don't speak in the class at all. Speak, talk to me. Okay, so now you people know how would you differentiate between a dead cell and a living cell. Is that thing clear to everyone?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. All right. Now, when we were talking about division of organisms, depending upon the number of cells that they have, the organisms, they are of two types, unicellular and multicellular. Now, unicellular are those organisms that are made up of just one cell, and multicellular are those that have more than one cell in their body.
Yes, ma'am.
Further, they have tissues in their body, they have organs in their body, and organ systems in their body. Now, the organism that comes under the unicellular category is the most famous, that's bacteria. And the ones that come under the multicellular, like so many, man, cow, dog, plants, all of these would come under. Yes?
Ma'am, is fungi a unicellular?
I was going to ask this question. Fungi is a multicellular organism. There's one exception. There's yeast. Have you people heard about yeast?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
What does yeast do?
Ma'am, it swells any food.
It swells the food.
Yes, ma'am.
Swell is not the word. It ferments the food. Fermentation, right? The rising
Yes,
of the
ma'am.
dough, right? While we make dosas or bread or all of those. So in that point of time, the yeast is used to cause fermentation. And you know, all the alcoholic drinks that are there, they are also fermented by. So that
Yes, ma'am.
yeast is a unicellular eukaryotic organism. Unicellular. But rest all of the fungi, they are multicellular. So I'll write fungi
Okay.
over here also. Clear to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
Okay. What is that machine or the apparatus that you use to visualize the cell, students?
Compound and electron microscope.
Microscope, right? Have
Yes,
you
ma'am.
people used microscope in your schools?
Yes, ma'am. Compound and electron
Yes,
both.
ma'am.
Compound.
Ma'am.
Everyone has?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I
Okay.
have
Do
used
you know how
compound
to
and
set a
electron.
microscope?
Yes, ma'am.
All of you know how to set a microscope?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, wow, nice. Everyone knows. Okay. So do you have that microscope which already has a light source in it, or do you point it towards the light?
Ma'am, we have both of them.
We have to point it.
Okay. Some of you have to point it and some of you have both. Okay, nice.
Yes.
All right. So students, tell me one thing. Why do we color the cells to see them?
Ma'am, to study
Ma'am, to see.
study the cell properly.
But why? Why can't I study without staining them?
Ma'am, because we
Ma'am,
cannot see
some
them.
are like transparent.
Correct. They are transparent. That is why we have to stain them, isn't it? Or else
Yes,
why
ma'am.
would we need to stain? Okay. Tell me some of the dyes that we use to say stain the cells.
Ma'am, iodine, saffron,
Green.
and blue,
Green.
Saffron,
methylene. Yes,
saffronin,
saffronin and
saffron,
iodine and methylene.
Methylene,
methylene blue. Then
iodine,
there's correct
iodine.
iodine solution. Yes. There's also Janus green. There are many cells stains that you can use to stain
Yes.
the cells to visualize. Okay. All right. So you people know that we have to. And while you people were viewing the cells under the microscope, which color did you see?
Ma'am, for
Little bit.
onion it was like pink.
Ma'am, for
Pink.
cheeks it was little blue because I used they put some solution. I forgot the name. So yeah, some blue color solution.
So you people visualize cheek cells.
Ma'am, I
Ma'am, I
visualized cheek cell.
visualized.
It was my biology practicals that day.
Okay. So cheek cells.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I have
Okay.
discovered onion cell.
Okay. You
Onion
visualize
cell.
onion cells. Okay.
Yes.
What about others? Which cells do you see under the microscope?
Yes, ma'am.
What about the others? Ishad, Safia, Sara, you people tell me. Which cell did you see under the microscope?
I saw
Ma'am,
onion.
both of it. Cheek
Ma'am,
cell
I
and
saw onion and
onion.
cheese.
Onion and cheek. So okay, so like you people saw your own cheek cells or
Yes,
somebody
ma'am.
else's?
Ma'am, I have seen.
Okay, nice. All right. So we know that the shape and the size of the cell, it varies according to the function, isn't it, students? Meaning, if the cell is bigger in size, so the shape will also accommodate. And if there is a cell that is required to divide a lot, right? So those cells will have a different shape. The cells that do not divide a lot, they store, isn't it? So for example, students, I give you two cells. One cell is the cell that divides a lot, and the second cell is the one that is you can say it doesn't divide a lot and it performs the function of storage. So how would you differentiate in between them? You people got the question? Everyone understood the question? Or
Yes.
shall I repeat?
Ma'am, can you repeat?
See, I gave you two cells. Okay, two cells. One of the cell, I'm saying, I told you the criteria that one cell is the one that divides a lot, and the second cell, any one out of them, it doesn't divide a lot, rather it is responsible for storage.
Ma'am,
And then
cell size.
And then I ask you all that tell me how would you tell which of the cell is dividing and which one is for storage? How, with just one thing you can tell. How would you tell? Tell me.
Ma'am, nucleus.
No, not nucleus. These are analytic questions, students. Think hard. It's not that difficult. Have you people ever heard about a thing called as vacuole?
Ma'am, what?
Have you people ever heard about a thing called as vacuole?
Yes, ma'am.
All of you
Yes,
have
ma'am.
heard?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Do
ma'am.
you people have vacuoles in your body?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
do?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Which
ma'am.
kind of vacuoles do you people have? Tell me.
I do.
Are you all
Um,
plants?
no, ma'am. We don't have.
So I'm teaching a bunch of plants.
Yeah, no.
Are you sure? Now you people told me that you all have vacuoles. So now I'm convinced that you are not. Tell me yes or no.
Ma'am.
No, we don't have.
No, ma'am.
We don't have. Correct. So
Yes.
yeah. So what is the function of vacuole, students?
Ma'am, they store.
What
Food.
They
function?
store food. Yeah, and yeah.
So storage, isn't it?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So if two cells were given to you and one cell was a dividing cell and the other one was not, so how would you differentiate?
Vacuoles.
If one cell has a lot of vacuoles and the other one will not. So the one that has a lot of vacuoles will does not, so that will perform the division. Getting my point?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, in the case of plants, how much volume can the vacuole occupy?
Ma'am, 50 to 90%.
50 to 90%. Imagine if this is a plant cell. So in the plant cell, the 50 or 90% of the area will be covered by vacuole and nucleus will be shifted to one side.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is going to happen in the case of plants. All right. Which is the longest cell of our body, students?
Ma'am, neuron cell. Nerve cell.
Nerve cell or neuron. Correct. Okay. Now, all of you know about cell theory, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Good. So, who gave the third point of the cell theory?
Third point. Workout.
Okay.
Ma'am,
Like,
workout.
the yes, Irshad?
Ma'am, Slade.
Third point, third point.
Ma'am, workout.
Ma'am, Robert workout.
Rudolph's workout. You're
Rudolph.
changing the
Rudolph.
person. Rudolph's workout. Right? Rudolph's workout. Very
Yes,
good.
ma'am.
So, yeah, even if you write workout, then also you'll get marks. I'm just telling. Okay? But
Okay.
don't write Robert workout because in that case, you'll not get marks. Getting my point? Just write
Yes,
workout,
sir.
you will get the marks. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So yes, so he gave the third point, and the third point was that the cells come from pre-existing cells,
Pre-existing
isn't it?
cells. Yes.
Okay. Tell me one thing, students. Why is the cell theory not applicable to viruses?
Ma'am, because they are
Ma'am, they are
living
not
in.
truly living.
They're not truly living. So how can you explain that to me? How are they not
Ma'am,
truly
can I
living?
say? Ma'am, because they are dead outside the living organism, and when they enter the living organism body, they get alive again.
And what if we take them out of the living body again? Then
Ma'am,
Ma'am,
they
it
are
will be a
dead.
dead cell.
will be a death. Okay, and also remember one more thing, students, that the viruses, they do not have a proper cellular structure. Like normally a cellular structure, meaning cytoplasm, cell membrane, all of these things are there, but viruses don't have them. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
All right, very good. So, okay, when we talk about the plasma membrane, right? What is the nature of plasma membrane, students?
Plasma membrane.
Hmm.
Ma'am, it exchanges the gases from
No, I'm asking about the nature of it. I'm not asking
nature.
the function.
Nature.
Anyone else? What is the nature of the plasma membrane, Astitva?
Yes, ma'am. Can you repeat?
What is the nature of the plasma membrane?
Yes, ma'am. The nature of plasma membrane.
See,
It
so
protects the cell.
no. See, yeah, it does protect the cell. But if anyone would ask you, what is the nature? Nature means what is its quality. So the one of the most important quality that the plasma membrane has is that it is selectively permeable.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Selective permeable.
Yes. So if anyone would ask you what is the nature of the cell membrane or the plasma membrane, it means it is selectively permeable, semi-permeable. But when you talk about cell wall, is the cell wall selectively permeable?
No.
Then how would you describe the nature of a cell wall?
And it protects the cell from external environment.
That's true. That's true. All of it is true. Like how I said that plasma membrane is selectively permeable and that is its nature. So what will be the nature of cell wall? Does cell wall allow anything to come through it, students?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
So what is it then? If it does not allow, then what would you call it?
It is not semi-permeable, ma'am.
What are you saying, Ishad?
Ma'am, it is not semi-permeable.
That's true. It's not semi-permeable. So what is the word for it?
Ma'am, it's a wall. No.
If anything
Ma'am, it's
is
a
not
hard cover.
if anything is not permeable, what is the word for it?
Ma'am, it's a hard covering.
No. Tell me in terms of permeability.
Okay.
See, all of these. Say it again, Ishad.
Nothing, ma'am.
Oh. See, it is impermeable, students.
Okay.
Impermeable.
Okay.
Getting my point? Meaning that it does not allow, it does not permit anything. Selectively permeable means that it will allow something, but it will not allow everything. Anything that will allow the coming inside or going outside of anything, then we call it as permeable. But cell wall, it does not allow anything to come in or anything to go out. So we call it as impermeable. So is this question that I asked that what is the nature of the plasma membrane or what is the nature of the cell wall? Is this question clear to you all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
many a times what
Yes, ma'am.
happens is that we don't understand the question. So how would we answer? Isn't it?
Yes.
So did you all understand it?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
very good. Okay, how would you differentiate in between prokaryotes and eukaryotes?
Ma'am, their
Ma'am,
size.
prokaryotes don't have membrane bound cell organelles, and it
Hmm.
doesn't have nucleus.
Very good.
Ma'am,
Exactly. Prokaryotes do not have a membrane-bound nucleus, nor do they have the membrane-bound cell organelle.
ma'am, they have
Anything,
single chromosome present inside them.
yeah.
Prokaryotes.
And
And you
anything that does not have, you can say, a membrane. See, students, tell me one thing. Do prokaryotes have ribosome? Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am, sure.
What kind of a ribosome do they have?
What is it?
Is it 70S or 80S?
Ma'am, I don't know about 70s and 80s.
Okay, okay. It may be not there in the syllabus. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyway, tell me, so ribosome is a cell organelle or not? Is it?
Yes, ma'am, but this.
Right? Everyone agrees
ma'am.
that it is a cell organelle?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell me, if the prokaryotes, they cannot have the membrane-bound cell organelles. So how do they have ribosome? How is the ribosome present in it? See, one hint, the answer to this question is very simple. The question is very simple. I'm just twisting it so that you
Ma'am, it's
people will
not.
get confused. You people got what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I am saying that the prokaryotes cannot have membrane-bound cell organelles, right? So how do they have ribosome? Ribosome is a cell organelle. So how is
Yes.
a ribosome present? I just change the language, or I just, twist the question and you people go blank. Even though all of you have your concepts clear. And you people know that straight questions will not be asked, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am, because nuclear membrane is absent.
So what? Nuclear membrane is different. It has something else to do. I'm talking about the ribosome. When I'll tell you the answer, students, you people will be like, oh ma'am, we know this. See, students, the first thing, that ribosome, yes, it is present in the prokaryotes. And the next thing is that the ribosome, even though it is a cell organelle, it is present in prokaryotes because it does not have a membrane. Okay? It does
Yes,
not
ma'am.
have a membrane. And if anything has a membrane or any cell organelle that has a membrane, so that will not be present in prokaryotes, only in the case of eukaryotes. And out of prokaryotes and eukaryotes, which one is primitive?
Ma'am, what is the meaning of primitive?
Wait, I'll tell you. Anyone else? Tell me the answer.
Ma'am,
Which one
what's
is? The question is, out of prokaryotes and eukaryotes, which one is primitive?
ma'am, prokaryote?
Prokaryotes. Very good. Now see, students, the meaning of primitive means ancient, old. Which one came first? So prokaryotes came first. Prokaryotes are the oldest cells. Ancient, you understand? Ancient.
Yes, ma'am, yes.
So primitive means ancient or something that was formed first. So if anyone asks you that out of prokaryotes and eukaryotes, which one was found or formed first, then prokaryotes first. Okay.
Yes.
All right. What is the function of cell wall, students?
Cell wall function.
What is the function of cell wall?
It protects the cell.
Okay. But it protects the cell from what?
Ma'am, from
External environment.
External environment, correct. Then what else?
It prevents the cell from bursting.
It prevents, very good. It prevents, this is what I was wanting to hear. It prevents the cell from bursting or from shrinking.
collapse.
Right? Not from shrinking, but from collapsing. Because when something shrinks down, it can collapse, isn't it?
Yes.
So
Yes,
so
ma'am.
when does a cell burst, or when can a cell burst?
Ma'am, if small water is present inside it.
Okay, so tell me in terms of solution.
Hypotonic.
Hypo or hyper?
Hypo.
Hypo.
Hypo or hyper? Tell
Ma'am,
me whoever is
Ma'am, hyper.
Hypotonic.
hypertonic.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
How would you describe hypertonic solution, student?
Ma'am, solute more concentration, more concentrated water.
So
Solution.
if the external solution is more concentrated, then that means it will have more solute and less water.
Yes, ma'am.
So in that case, the cell will swell up.
No.
If the external solution has more solute, then what will happen? the water from the cell will move out. In that case,
Yes,
the
ma'am.
cell would shrink, isn't it, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Hmm. So hypotonic, isn't it? Because
ma'am.
when the cell has more solute and less water, and the external environment has more water, less solute, in that case, the water will move to the inside of the cell, isn't it?
Yes.
Clear to you all?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Sure?
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Because
ma'am.
I have forgotten the counting of how many times I have taught you hypo and hypertonic. And still you people are confused.
Ma'am, isotonic is having a solute and solvent equal, right? In equal amount.
In that case, the net movement of water from the cell and to the cell will be same.
Yes. So nothing will happen to the cell.
Nothing will happen to the cell.
Yes.
Okay, tell me what is the difference between chromatin and chromatid?
Ma'am, it is about chromosomes, right?
Ma'am,
I am asking you the question. Yes, Ishad, you were saying the question answer.
ma'am, it is a mixed material chromatin.
Chromatin is what?
Like
Say.
I mean it says like mixed material like
Ma'am, can I say?
when it is
Wait,
not
Tejas,
a
wait.
stage of
Okay.
division.
Hmm.
Ma'am,
If
I
it
was
is
saying.
not in the state of division.
Yes.
Chromatin
Ma'am, when
for
the cell is not dividing.
yes, ma'am. When the cell is on divided.
So when the cell is not dividing, then
It's
The
chromatin.
chromatin will be
when the cell is not dividing, chromatin.
No,
Ma'am,
Tell me the
chromatin.
DNA
situation.
present is in the form of chromatin.
Hmm. And how would you see chromatin and understand that it is chromatin?
Ma'am, entangled.
Yes,
Because
it
of
will be just like how if you open a ball of wool and then you just put it like this, right? How tangled it will be, isn't it? You can't find the end of it. So that will be the chromatin. Very good. Astitva, you tell me what is chromatid, TID. Chromatid.
Sorry, ma'am, my mic was muted. Yes,
Hmm?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Can you repeat? My mic was muted, so I kept on speaking. I couldn't hear.
What is chromatid?
Ma'am, chromatin.
Not chromatin, chromatid.
Ma'am, it is a. Is it a genetic material like which has a DNA?
All of it has the DNA. Chromatin also has DNA. Chromatid also has DNA. Chromosome also has DNA.
Yes, ma'am.
So what is the difference? What is chromatid is my question.
Chromatin or chromatin?
Tid, T-I-D.
TID.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. So chromatid means
ma'am, chromatid is a state where it is about to it is
Wait,
dividing.
Tejas, wait.
Okay.
ma'am is
Tell me.
is it having uh, is chromatid is one of the
One of the
two identical halves of a duplicated chromosome?
two identical halves of a duplicated chromosome.
Yes, ma'am.
See, I can also search on the internet.
Yes, ma'am.
I can also search on the internet, dear.
Yes, ma'am.
I searched the exact thing and it's showing whatever you said. This is not something that I have made you like. See, this is what I don't like to do. Getting my point?
Yes.
If you don't
Yes,
know
ma'am.
the answer, it's no shame. It's all right. You can say, ma'am, I don't know. Ma'am, I have not studied yet. But to cheat and write in front of me, That's not nice, dude. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Sorry, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am.
it's okay. So yes, the answer that you told me, it is correct. Chromatid, like one chromosome is made up of two chromatids, right? Chromatid is one half of a chromosome, and they are joined together in the center by a circular structure. Tell me, what is the name of that circular structure?
Yes,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
what?
Can you repeat?
The question is two chromatids, and my question is to Astikva, okay? So two chromatids, they are joined at the center with the help of a circular structure. What is the name of that structure?
Ma'am, nucleus?
No, dear.
I don't know.
Okay, it's okay. Anyone else who can answer?
Ma'am, I also don't know about this.
Okay, anyone else?
Ma'am, is it centromere?
Yes, it is centromere. The circular structure which joins the two chromatids together is centromere. Okay.
I mean,
What
nothing,
happened,
ma'am.
Tejas?
Nothing, ma'am.
Okay. See, students, I understand the chapters are too big, right? Or both the chapters, like fundamental unit of life, tissues, both of the chapters are really, really long. So I can understand this when you people are not able to answer. I never get angry. Okay. I know I give you that much of, you can say, benefit of the doubt that it's okay. You have to study all so many other subjects also, isn't it? You have to study
Yes, ma'am.
physics, chemistry, maths, English, isn't it?
Yes,
And do you
ma'am.
people have Hindi also?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Second
ma'am.
language.
I have Hindi.
Sanskrit,
Second language.
Hindi, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Urdu. You might have studied all of these
Yes,
subjects,
ma'am.
right?
Yes.
So I understand, but students always remember, I'll tell you one thing. This is to every single student. Okay. The thing is that I don't want my students, all of my students are excellent. All of you in my class, everyone, Tejas, Sara, Astitva, Ishad, Safia, all of you are exceptional students. I know that. But always remember one thing, students. Honesty is the best policy, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
the best policy. And it's like, it's not just an like proverb. It is actually a very meaningful thing. If you are honest, then you will always succeed. But if you are dishonest, you will succeed at first, but then
But
you will
then,
fail miserably.
yes.
Okay. So this is to everyone. I'm not telling this to one student, everyone. Okay. So always be honest with yourself in your studies, in whatever you do. Because if you will be honest, then you will be benefiting the most. And do you know who will be the happiest when you score the best marks?
Ma'am, me and my parents.
And what about me?
You also, ma'am.
You also, ma'am.
Yes, we do. So all of you work really hard, okay, students? Yes, Irshad, you were not there for animal tissues?
No, ma'am, I was asking like, did you teach animal tissues before?
Yes, I've completed animal tissues.
Ma'am, I was not present there that time, that's why.
You were not present in any of the classes.
No,
Yes,
ma'am,
ma'am.
that
He's
time
not.
I had exam.
Okay, you were having the exam. All right. You should have told me before, na? I could have discussed that only. See, animal tissues, they are, you can say, divided into how many types, students?
4
Ma'am,
types.
yes, connective.
Connective tissue, yes, 4 types. Who said 4 types? Astitva, you
Irshad.
did?
No, ma'am,
Or
Irshad.
Ishad,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
did?
No, ma'am, I did.
Who did?
Irshad. No, Asit.
Astitva, you did?
Ma'am, what? And
Okay, whoever did, very good. Whoever said 4, we have epidermal tissue, right? We have the
Connective.
connective tissue, muscular tissue, and then we have the nervous tissue.
Nervous tissue.
Okay. So talking about the epidermal tissue, right? It is the tissue that forms the covering of our body, and it is the
ma'am.
outermost layer of the body, isn't it? And it
Yes.
also surrounds the organs, it also surrounds and lines. Okay, yes, I have a very famous question. I love to ask this question. What is the difference between covering and lining, students?
Ma'am,
I have asked you this question, right?
ma'am,
Before?
covering is a type of thing which protects a cell from external environment, and lining is structure of any cell. It is inside
But
of
again,
it.
what is the difference between covering and lining? You people play merry-go-round around the question. Covering and lining. Do you people remember? I used my dress also to show you that anything that is present on top, that is the
Yes, ma'am.
covering. Anything that
Yes,
is
ma'am.
present from the inside is the
Yes, ma'am.
lining. So a
Yes, ma'am.
layer, when it is present on the outside, that is what we call as covering. And a layer that is present from the inside, that is what we call as a lining. So this is something you all should know, the difference between covering and lining. This won't be asked in the question, but you
Yes,
should. Now, the first kind of animal tissue is the epithelial tissue. This tissue is the protective tissue that forms the covering of the body also. And in many places, it lines the body also. So it covers and lines the body.
Yes.
Now, they are the characteristic feature of these tissues is that they are tightly packed, meaning the cells that are present inside these tissues, they are very closely situated. And if any cell is closely situated, then that naturally means that it has no intercellular spaces at all, right? The tissues are packed. Now, because of the exchange of material, right, they are permeable. Okay, their nature, if I say that what is the nature of epithelial cells, then you would say they are permeable because they allow the substances to move or pass through them. From the inside to the outside, from the outside to the inside. Now, the epithelial tissue are of these many types, depending upon what is their structure, right? How the cells look like. Then depending upon where they are present, so that becomes the location. And also depending upon what are their functions. So the epithelial tissues, they are like squamous epithelium, stratified epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar, ciliated columnar, and glandular. These are the different types of the epithelial tissue. Now, this is a chart.
In my syllabus, I have only 4 types of epithelium tissue.
I know. Ciliated columnar and these things won't be
Yes,
there,
ma'am.
isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
See, ciliated columnar is just a modification. It's just like the columnar epithelium, but it has cilia on it. If I say ciliated cuboidal, then it means that they are cube-like cells, but they have cilia on them. Getting my point, students?
Yes, ma'am.
So talking about the different types of epithelial tissue, the first one that we are going to discuss, squamous epithelium. The other name for squamous epithelium is pavement epithelium. Now, I believe all of you have, like most of you would have tiles at home, isn't
Yes,
it? On the
ma'am.
walls of washroom, tiles.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So have you seen how the tiles arrangement is like? Isn't it like a box-like structure? Then again,
Yes,
a box-like
ma'am,
structure,
there.
and you can see the lines also, isn't
Yes,
it?
ma'am.
So the
Between them.
squamous, yeah,
Between them.
yeah. So the squamous epithelium is just like a pavement or the tile-like appearance. Okay. And also on the road also you might have seen big boxes. Have you seen big boxes that have like circular structures on them? On the footpath.
Boxes. Yes, ma'am. Yes.
They're like
Yes, ma'am.
yellowish in color. So that is a pavement, right? So the squamous epithelium can also be called as a pavement epithelium because of the way that it is, right? Because it gives that appearance. The cells of this particular epithelium, they are large and they are extremely thin and flat. Big cells, but thin and flat cells. Talking about the location, so they are present in the lining of the blood vessels, lung alveoli, esophagus, and the lining of the mouth and the cheek. Meaning, is it present on the outside or the inside?
Ma'am, inside.
Inside. Why? Because it is forming the lining, not the covering. Let us see the functions of
Covering
it.
is
So it
outside.
performs, yes. So talking about the function, so it performs protection, transport, right? Since it is permeable, so it allows the the transport of materials, and it also protects. Clear, student?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
So epithelium tissue is clear to you all, squamous epithelium?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. Now see, students, whenever you people have any doubt, or whenever you people feel like I'm not able to understand this, I don't know how to learn it, please tell me, okay? Like instead of suffering alone, share it with your teacher so that I can help you, okay? This is to everyone.
Yes, sir.
All right,
Yes, ma'am.
students. So yeah, so we'll keep it till here only because the time is like out. I have other classes also, and in the next class we'll start from here. Okay,
Okay, ma'am.
we'll do the proper revision of all the animal tissues. And Irshad, from now on, please be present in the class, okay? Because I'll be dealing animal tissues for you. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
All right. Okay, students.
Okay,
I'll
ma'am.
see you
Thank
all
you,
in
Yes,
the
ma'am.
ma'am.
next.
Bye,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Bye bye,
Thank you, ma'am.
everyone.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Take care.